I hope everybody can hear this Christmas music, dude, because this stuff is just jamming right now.
I hope so too.
Oh, are we live?
Yeah.
Okay, I already knew that. What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to the Hurt Locker Christmas edition. Merry Christmas, everybody. It is Christmas Eve tonight. We are 1 day away from Christmas Eve, 2 days away from Christmas. Hope you guys are ready for the holiday. Hope you guys are going to be traveling safe and having a great time with y'all family. I'm looking forward to eating some more food, just like on Thanksgiving, my other favorite holiday because of the food aspect of things. We're supposed to go look at lights or something tonight, so sorry guys, I gotta kind of get this podcast rolling pretty quickly tonight. We're on a time crunch tonight. So anyway, but yeah, we're going to look at lights. They have this contest in our little tiny town, where they do like top 20 houses in the whole town of 20,000 people. So we're gonna go check it out. They have like an interactive map that's on Google Maps, so you can actually like tune into and go to the addresses and go like vote on them and stuff like that. So voting ends tonight. They're obviously up and running like all night, so people just go about and go check them out. So that's what we're doing. But for right now, you got me live in action on the Hurt Locker. Again, thank you for tuning in, everybody. We're live on X, so follow it on X if you would like, which I would hope you would do. I would really appreciate it. Please go follow and like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. That really does help us out big time. At Total Coverage Sports, that is the new name for the show. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that yet. It's changed about a month ago to Total Coverage Sports. Ghost and Friends is obviously still active. Still hear from Ghost every once in a while. You can follow me for the Hurt Locker at LowHurt24 on X. This is Liam Neighbors. You guys have seen him now for several weeks. He is back, ready in action, repping the Beavs tonight. I love it. Sadly but surely. And I don't know if anybody saw the post and the picture on the page of "Will the Suffering Ever End?" Liam had the honor of giving us that picture today, as he is a diehard Aggie fan, and what a rough game that was. I'm sorry for your loss, sir. I was rooting hard for y'all. I was rooting hard.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a bad weekend. Just a real, and it started early on Sunday too, or Saturday too, and just off to a bad start the whole time. I mean, 0-0 going into halftime. I couldn't even tell you what I was thinking at half. It just offense couldn't do anything, defense holding their own, and we just knew if Miami kept giving it to Mark Fletcher, like eventually he was going to break one because he was averaging like 7 or 8 yards a carry that first half.
Yeah.
And he finally broke one late, and that was all she wrote.
Yep. Yeah, and we'll touch on that a little bit more. I want to get rolling pretty quickly, and we're gonna go over some recaps from the weekend. That's what we're gonna be touching on today, and we'll be doing some recaps, and then we'll be doing some predictions for this next week. Obviously, it's coming up here in the new year, so won't be seeing you guys till the new year most likely. So we're gonna give you some recaps, some prediction, see what we got. We did pretty good on the last show for predictions. I think we were, for the most part, pretty spot on, besides the Ducks not covering the 20. Everything else, I think we were pretty spot on, at least as far as picking winners. We were all in agreement when we had Cody on here the other day. So, let's dive into it, man. So Bama, Oklahoma. Bama with the win there, 34-24. So 10-point lead. They did cover the spread. And ultimately, I mean, they dominated, I think, pretty much. Well, I'll say the whole second half. First half looked like it was all Oklahoma. Looks like they were pretty much maintaining drives, and Mateer looked like he was making plays. With the turning point in that game was in that second quarter. Mateer threw an absolute seed to an open receiver. Guy drops it, made him actually go on a 3-and-out and punt it. And then right then and there, that literally changed and flipped all the momentum towards Bama. Ty Simpson had a pretty good game. Looked like he started to get comfortable in that second half and started getting things rolling for Bama, and putting up 34 points on Oklahoma's defense is no slight at all. We're talking like they're a very, very good defensive team. So, impressive win by Bama, putting up 34 on them. What do you think, Liam? I mean, do you see Bama continuing this? Do you think that they're getting hot now at the right time after getting their butt whooped against Georgia, or do you think it's going to be a shortcoming for them here in this next week?
Yeah, well, we were texting throughout the game too, and just the 17-0 lead that OU got out to, and we all thought, wow, like OU's dominant. Bama didn't deserve to be here. It's just another recap of, the Iron Bowl, of how much of a slugfest that was, and almost like playing down to their opponent in Auburn, even though we know it's a tough game all year. And then just getting smacked by Georgia. We thought, here we go again. Bama's getting in because of their logo, and that's about it.
Right.
And then it just flipped from I think it was Xavier Robinson dropped that ball. It's a running back downfield. Like, you can't expect them to have the best hands on the team, but still you got to make that catch. And I think that's where the whole game flipped. The pick six right afterwards, and because they were looking at possible, like a 17-7 lead going into half, and like totally manageable, and all of a sudden it flipped to be a tie game. So I think Bama's getting healthy at the right time. I know we'll pick the game in a little bit, but I think I saw a report that LT Overton's going to be back, one of their big defensive tackles. So he's first time in a while. That's just going to be more of an advantage for Bama, getting healthy at the right time against another red hot Indiana team who's got something to prove, but also hasn't played in over a month now. So that could be an issue too.
Yeah, lots of red and white. There's gonna be a lot of red and white there.
It's gonna be an awesome looking Rose Bowl.
Yeah, you're not gonna be sure who's who in the stands, but it's gonna look like there's roses everywhere, right? It's got that rose type feel. It's a perfect matchup. I think it's gonna be definitely I think it's gonna be a slugfest. I do think Bama's maybe they're up for the challenge. If there is any team that Indiana was like, man, I don't really want to play that team, I think they would have much rather played Oklahoma any day of the week. I felt like they probably thought maybe, hey, we match up better with these guys. Even on the coaching standpoint of things, like they just thought maybe coaching wise they matched up better. And now seeing Bama, I mean, I would be a little bit nervous coming down the road of having a bye week. Bama had a really good week, bounced back well, and put the boots to Oklahoma a little bit. Now they're going to go and have a chance to upset the number one team in the country. A lot of people, having this favorite from a guy that just won the Heisman. A lot of people are riding Indiana pretty high, which I'm riding Indiana pretty highly. Just from what I've seen all year. I mean, it's pretty hard not to. I think the spread is 6.5. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough to not really want to go for a touchdown, right? You're going to give me that little extra half below a touchdown of a 7-point spread. And it's hard for me not to want to take Indiana for at least to win by a touchdown, just because of what they've shown all year. But then you watch what Bama just did, and it's like all more the reason to think that Bama's going to keep this thing real tight, and maybe come down to like a field goal type game. If I had to absolutely choose one, I got to go Indiana -6.5 this week. I just think, I think in terms of total what they've done all year long, and with the opponents that they've had to beat, and especially going to Autzen as an underdog, nobody really gave them a shot at beating Autzen, and they went to Autzen and beat the Ducks. Playing Ohio State, I think it was the same type of thing. It was like, okay, we'll see how good they really are. Ohio State's really good, and everybody knows it. And they just handled business. They locked them down. They didn't do much. And I think if it was me and Signetti, I'm preparing for Bama over Oklahoma. I think I was probably looking ahead to play Bama instead, just because of who they are. And their reputation in the playoffs is usually pretty good. So to me, I was thinking, hey, this is probably who we're going to play. And they're very similar in terms of Oklahoma and Bama, in terms of what they run offensively and their type of style and their identity as a offense. Very similar. So I think in terms of that, it made it easier to maybe game plan and watch film and do their thing and prepare for this next week, no matter who they were playing. I think they got the extra week of rest. They got the extra week of film and practice. Mendoza's coming off winning a Heisman. The guy is feeling an all-time high that he's never felt before. It's hard to go against the Hoosiers, man. And so yeah, I want to take Indiana -6.5 this week. That's
a pretty compelling argument. I can't really disagree with that. I'm going to take Bama +6.5. I think Indiana gets the win. I just think,
which again, I don't blame you. I think it's going to be tight. To me, it's more a matter of, can Indiana just literally win 24-17? Like, and it ain't a blowout. It's just close. Maybe they score late. They're down there. They're threatening for maybe just kicking a game-winning field goal, and they actually get in the end zone instead. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's where I'm.
Yeah, and if I were to project a score, I'm going 24-20. So we're right on the same page with that. Just a field goal here, a turnover there, and that's all the difference it makes. It's going to be a close game. I think Oklahoma, from a Bama standpoint, Oklahoma comps pretty well, at least defensively, with Indiana. Right, they're both really sound. Again, Bama. Remember we talked about it for the last couple of weeks now. Bama cannot run the football. They only ran for 28 yards against OU. 28 yards. So they had a defensive pick six. It was kind of the opposite of what happened the first time they played, right? Bama gets the pick six, and then the defense shuts them out after that. And I don't know. I think it's another similar matchup, but Indiana's a little more balanced. They don't turn the ball over as much as OU does, and that's going to be just enough. And they're going to play just as tough defense, if not more so. If you can shut Ohio State down, keep them to 10, you should be able to shut Bama down.
Absolutely. And that's kind of why I'm thinking that 6.5, even if they won 7-0 or, it's 17-7, 17-7, 14-7. I mean, I just think defensively they are so sound, and they've kind of seen everything thrown at him this year. And Ty Simpson's, I'm not going to say he's better. He's not better than Dante Moore, in my opinion. As far as Dante Moore's been there. He has more experience. So to me, the experience already weighs in a little bit more than Ty Simpson not having the experience. Julian Saint obviously is brand new, but he's looked just spectacular all year. He hasn't really had a lot of hiccups. A couple very early pickoffs that he's thrown in the last two games, but besides that, he's bounced back pretty well, and he's done a really good job. So again, to me, man, I do think Indiana's got it. They do got it. And not being able to run the football for Bama that's something that Bama just doesn't do. That's not normal for them, right? So not having that aspect and then putting it all on a brand new quarterback is a tough thing to do, especially in the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. That's a tough thing to put a guy through and expect a guy to really show up. And he's going to have to throw for 300 yards. That's not happening. I don't think he's throwing for 300 yards. No. So to me, give me that 6.5. Indiana's is going to ride this one out. So,
yep, I completely agree with all that.
I do.
The difference is going to be the run game,
big time. Yeah, I mean, if you can't run the football, there's not a lot of times in any game, unless it's just an absolute shootout with a team that doesn't have a good defense, which is not the case. So,
right, and Bama still somehow found a way to do that against Oklahoma.
Right.
Well, honestly, I'll say this. This goes back to when we talked with Cody last week about which quarterback would we take out of everyone that's left to start our own team with. I truly believe Ty Simpson is that guy, right? If you gave him, just a little bit better performance weekly from a rushing standpoint, if they could average 70 yards a week, which is still terrible, right? Yeah. If you want to be even remotely balanced, he's going to be that much better in the passing game and could lead Alabama to a national championship. I truly believe that.
And that's almost any quarterback. It's amazing what happens when you just have a decent run game that can put a defense on their heels and make them think twice and actually have to work to stop the run game and not just sit back and just smack you upside the head because they know what's going on. They know what's about to happen to them. It makes a world of difference. I mean, play action in itself, play a big game changer to have. And coming from an Oregon State guy, watching heavy run games for years with just great running backs and a great play action system, there is nothing harder to defend than a team that has the best run game in the conference or in the nation or whatever it is, right? There's nothing harder to stop than that with an O-line that is run heavy. They're looking just to mow you down. They're going to wear you out all game long, and that's what they're missing. And it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them when you run into a buzzsaw team like this. Now, might prove me wrong. Ty Simpson might prove me wrong here and just come out and just absolutely sling the pill and throw for over 300 yards. I just don't see it happening. Not with the quarterbacks they've already seen with Julian Saint and Dante Moore, who had a really, really hard time. And Indiana didn't even get to play them at home. They were on the road playing those.
Yeah, that's a great point too.
Right? So
it's just,
to me, this is like a no-brainer. I got to take Indiana. Principal, I got to take Indiana in this.
Principal game. That's fair enough. It's just crazy to me that in the year 2025, I guess going into 26 now, that we're talking about Indiana possibly being the more physical team than Alabama in football.
Yes.
Did you ever think that would ever happen?
No, I never even thought Indiana would even be in the top 25 for football.
No.
There's the staple right there. Indiana's in the top 25 alone is just incredible.
It's awesome. And the winner will get Oregon and Texas Tech back in Miami. Or I'm sorry, in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yep.
Yeah.
And we're talking about quarterbacks who automatically are boosted and play better because of run games. We're going to talk about Miami A&M. Carson Beck, right, remotely did nothing, absolutely nothing to win that football game.
Nope.
And again, he has a run game. The run game's working. They're killing it. They're averaging 6-7 yards a carry. That in itself allows so much to open up. And I mean, A&M, for one, the defense was so sound. Besides giving up those rushing yards, I mean, I'm giving up those rushing yards if I'm just getting pounded all game long. You have a quarterback that is struggling big time. I mean, they really 10 points, man. I mean, you got to hand it
I mean,
out
you
to your
can count
defense for
like
showing up. I
a
mean, your
couple
defense
missed field
ultimately
goals.
showed
Yeah.
up. I
Yeah.
mean,
You
ultimately,
can
I'm
give him a couple
sorry.
missed
I don't
field goals,
care.
a couple block. Yeah.
I don't care. You give up 170 rushing yards or whatever it is. You give 170 rushing yards, and the guy didn't even score a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, and there it is. And that right there is all you need to know about having a run game. And Carson Beck, this is going to be very interesting watching them now have to go play Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you touch on the A&M side of it because you're the Aggie. You know, you saw a lot more in that aspect than I did. You know, I'm trying to watch the game as like a neutral fan. Hey, I'm a college football guy. Obviously, I'm rooting for A&M, and it was tough to watch on my aspect of things. Can't even imagine all the Aggie fans watching that. But I mean, what do you think went wrong? I mean, what was the culprit of 3 freaking points offensively?
I think the biggest thing right out the bat is Miami's defensive line was just straight up better than A&M's offensive line. Again, A&M couldn't run the ball either, and usually been pretty good at that all year.
Yeah.
Marcel Reed got pressured a lot, and when he did, he couldn't make the big throws, short-handing throws or underthrowing guys that he usually hits during the year. You can attribute some of that to the wind, like you saw from field goal kicking and both quarterbacks throwing.
The wind
the
was
wind was
crazy.
not great, but it does go beyond that too. Like you can see guys throw in the wind and still complete passes. And, Marcel just could not do that this game for whatever reason. And I think on the macro level, beyond just the Miami game, this is 3 of the biggest games of his career and Colin Klein's career, who's now going to Kansas State, where they've scored, I don't know, what is it, a total of like 17 points or 20 points in 3 games. The Texas game last year, the Texas game this year, and then Miami. This year in the playoff game. I would argue those are the 3 biggest games of the last 2 seasons, and they just do not show up on offense at all.
Yeah.
It sucks for the guys. I don't want to point fingers at any one guy, but I think having Colin Klein halfway out the door, and he admitted earlier in the week that he's splitting his time focused on the Kansas State job and also the A&M offensive coordinator role, and you can't half-ass an offensive coordinator spot.
You can't have one foot in, one foot out. And what's insane to me is that he would even say that. I'm sorry, if I'm a coordinator and I'm running an offense with a top 10 team in the country, I'm in the playoff, and I have a home game against Miami, who didn't even make their ACC title game. I mean, they were the best team in the ACC, obviously, but still, you have this opportunity. Kansas State ain't going anywhere. The place isn't just going to get up and move because you're coaching a different team. No. They hired you for a reason, brother. You're going to be fine. You're going to get there. You're going to get back to Kansas State where you belong because that's where you were anyway. What the, in God's name, are you doing? Why would you even say that? And it's not even a discussion, dude. Like, you're coaching a team right now contending for a national championship. I promise you, Klein, I promise you, you're going to go to Kansas State. You're not going to contend for a natty. He will never get as close as he just was right now with this A&M team at Kansas State. It's never going to happen. Sorry, buddy. It's just not going to happen there. So that can wait, dude. Like, you literally played there. Like, who do you really, I mean, I get you care that much, but you care that much to be like, hey, well, I'm kind of focusing over here while why? For what? Like, this is your golden opportunity, your golden chance. And honestly, dude, if Kansas State, all those fans that just saw the goose egg performance that you just freaking laid out,
I'd be worried too.
They're now going, what the hell is going on? That's our guy.
I mean, they would never reject him. That'd be like if Johnny Manziel was a coordinator for 10 years and came back to be the head coach at A&M. They would never do that. But it goes to
You
show,
get my
like, in the
point.
big
Like,
games, they simply cannot score for whatever reason, whether it's Texas, whether it's Miami. I just don't understand. There was games earlier this year, like against Auburn. It was like a 16-10 win for A&M. But I think they had like 400 total yards. We just couldn't finish drives, couldn't score in the end zone. But they still moved the ball. We could not move the ball at all. And again,
no.
hat tip to Miami. Especially their D line was nasty. They got a bunch of first round, NFL guys out there playing. But A&M's prided themselves on the best offensive line in the SEC all year, and we ran the ball pretty well, protected Marcel pretty well. But down the stretch in the big games, it's about as disappointing as an 11-1, or I guess an 11-2 season could be. You don't beat your rival, right? You lose in the first round of the playoffs. You were 4 quarters away, a win against Texas away from being undefeated and going to the SEC championship. Now you have no championship, no playoff wins. 106,000 insane fans going crazy for you, yelling for 4 quarters with, once again, nothing to show for it. And again, it's the old battered Aggie syndrome. It'll get you eventually. And it's not dead yet. It is still very much alive because of the last couple of weeks. And I don't know if it'll ever be killed.
If it did die, it came back.
It got resurrected again.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And now, I guess moving forward too, and I hate to bring this up, but I know tons of Aggies that have been talking about this too. Is it time to move on from Reed? They were talking about Heisman a couple weeks ago, and I never really bought into that. And I think he's a good quarterback, and they talk about improvement. Like Elko said after the game, like, he's improved a ton. He's only a sophomore, granted, third-year guy, but still a sophomore. I just wondered, going into your 4th season and with a new offensive coordinator, how much more can you improve? And maybe the ceiling's there. I don't know. Maybe the ceiling is there, and maybe he can continue to grow, but how much more do you want to see before it's time to, I don't know, consider going after someone in the portal?
Well, and this is what I was actually, this is the next topic I was going to bring up to you was him in particular. He is athletic. He's crazy fast. He has moments where he's extremely fun to watch. He had the worst first half of football I've ever seen against South Carolina. And then the second half was like the best second half you could ever play as a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So just a complete 180. So here's my concern. And this is what I see with him. And it's very, very relative apples to apples comparison to a guy called Bryce Underwood with Michigan. They are so similar, right? They are extremely athletic. They have the talent. That's not the issue. The accuracy is the issue. The Underwood's got a better arm overall, even as a freshman. He's got a way better arm. He's just an absolute cannon. But here's the big difference is Marcel is, like I said, the accuracy is not there. There's no touch, man. That defines a quarterback to me. Do you have touch? And by touch, guys, what I'm talking about, I mean, I hope most people know what I'm talking about on here. If you don't, what I'm talking about is you're throwing a screen pass to your right that is behind the line of scrimmage or right at the line of scrimmage. The guy is literally 12 feet from you. Why are we taking a crow hop and throwing it as hard as we can at that guy? Like, someone please tell me why we're doing that. I get it if you're pressured or maybe we just need to get it out that fast. I understand. But there's an aspect of having some touch. There was 2 balls in that game that I remember vividly on crosser routes, on a shallow route right across in front of his face. A guy's wide open. He's got a trailing man behind him by 4 or 5 yards, and he throws it 100 miles an hour behind the guy. It's like, dude, if you just took your time, set your feet. He's got like happy feet. He's double clutching the ball.
He's got the big play potential. You've seen it the whole season.
But it's the small play, right? It's the little tiny play. Like that right there, a 3-yard shallow route, and you're triple pumping the ball, and then happy feet, instead of just being calm, setting our feet, having some touch, and just getting the ball out on time, right? Like that is why I see Underwood's the same way. Everything is a million miles an hour. It doesn't matter where the guy's at. It doesn't matter what the route is. It's like, dude, you have to understand time, down, situation, where we're throwing the football, where we're targeting. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you were a quarterback. You understand exactly what I'm talking about. Like, there is a time and a place to be like, yeah, I really got to zip that thing in there. And then there's a time and place where I just need to get this guy the ball any way I can, even if I got to freaking granny it to him, I got to get him the ball so he can get an open space and make a play. And there was
Yeah.
2 plays in that game in particular that happened exactly. And
Mhm.
it costed them, and it was on 3rd down, and it costed them drives of continuing drives. It could have went for 40 plus yards. There was literally
Yep.
no one within the vicinity. And that is it right there, man. Like, and that's not that big of an adjustment, right? That's just literally throwing more. That's just becoming comfortable. And like
Yeah.
you
So
said,
so it's a good
the big play
comparison.
thing, the big play thing is not, that's not his downfall, right? It's
Mhm.
the simple small play. Can we keep a freaking drive going and extend to something by literally just hitting a man 3 yards in front of our face? And that's for both those guys. Like that's the number one thing I've seen with those guys the entire year. And that's the only reason why I've been like, it's got this Lamar Jackson type feel for me. Sorry, Eli, I know you're listening to this. It's got this Lamar Jackson type feel. Lamar, the most incredible athlete, maybe in the NFL at that position. Like it's
Yeah.
not even remotely close, right? So the problem is we either A, can't read a defense, B, we're second guessing ourselves all the time. We're thrown into double, triple coverage instead of just taking what the defense gives us. Like
Mhm.
trying to do too much because you're so athletic, because you have this big play, big game capability. Just slow down, man. Like Lamar, you are faster than anybody in the freaking league. Slow yourself down. Take some time. Take what the defense gives you. Keep the drive going. Use your feet when you have to. Boom. And I think and that is what A&M missed out on a lot too, was Marcel seemed to, like, I don't know, there was times where he would use his feet a lot and it's working. Like this is something that is
Mhm.
literally the hardest thing to guard in all of
Oh yeah.
football, is guarding a dual threat quarterback and somebody that can move. And there was times where he would just expose people, and he's doing that, and it's just an RPO type option. James Madison, which we'll touch on, I want to touch on that too, did a lot of this where it's like, we have a really athletic quarterback that can move. We're giving you 3 different options here. You can hand this ball off, you can keep it and roll out, you can dump off to this guy, or you can take off, dude.
They've been
Like,
doing that all year, and they looked really good in the second half doing it too.
right. And that is what Klein didn't do this game. It was more like, okay, you need to be a drop back passer. You need to drop back and you just need to take a 3-step drop. And it's like, that's not who this guy is, though. That's just not who he is.
Yeah. Well, so your Underwood to Reed take is, I think, is pretty accurate, but it also ties back into my point of, I would buy into Underwood because he's got the ceiling, or he's got that much talent, right?
Yeah.
And he's what, 18, 19 years old.
Yeah,
He's a true
he's
freshman.
18. Yeah.
He's brand new to college football, and he's doing pretty well on a big stage, right? And he's got that much more room to grow. Reed's been in here for 3 years now. He's played in 30 plus games, whatever it's been, and we're still facing the same problem. So
Yeah.
how much more leeway do you give to be like, okay, he's going to grow more, he's going to improve more as a passer? And again, I'm not saying I've completely given up on him, but I think a serious conversation needs to be had of, what is his ceiling? Can he win the big one? Can he at least produce not even the same level against like average competition, but against, just a little bit better against good competition? And
Yeah.
it just hasn't proven that
Well,
yet.
and I
So
will say, from last year to this year, he's improved. Like,
100%.
single-handedly has improved leaps and bounds. But like you were saying, it's the ceiling. Like, okay, so he improved from last year to this year, but have we already reached his ceiling? Like, have we already capped out on what this guy can do? And that is the problem. I think, next year, as far as like the transfer portal, obviously you're probably going to get somebody. I mean, it's like that's just naturally going to
Yeah, but do
happen.
you get an Arkansas State quarterback as your, like, he comes in knowing he's the backup, or do you go after a
Well,
guy that's maybe a completely different system like Rocco Becht in the portal? I'm not saying we
well,
should go
we're
after him, but
we're
I'm
looking.
saying a
We're
guy like him.
prime example of that is Ole Miss. Prime
Oh,
example of that.
yes. I wanted to get to this too. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
That is a prime example of, we have a starter, we have a guy that we know is very, very solid.
Mhm.
We're gonna go dig down the tunnel a little bit and find a guy from a small school who we believe could run this offense and run this program the same way that our starter is, and we're gonna keep him in the stable just because we know how good this guy is, and we don't want to maybe get him out there too fast. Let him learn the system. Let him embrace the big college life, not freaking Ferris State, right? This is big boy football. This is SEC football. and they did a great job with him. And then now look at him. And he, in my opinion, is better than Marcel Reed. Like, from what I've seen there, he is kind of the same type of player, very athletic, little different on the build side of things with the body style, but I mean, they remotely play the same. Like, they have a very, very similar style. And that is what you guys would need Reed to be, is that right there at Ole Miss. Like, that is the piece.
And having those 18 touchdowns, 3 picks this year, that as a not freshman, but a new guy, a backup, and a new guy in the SEC playing it, like you said, D2 Ferris State, compared to being on the big stage, almost upsetting Georgia, winning out the rest of the way, comfortably making the playoffs, and now gets a good rematch. He came in and played so well because Austin Simmons got hurt. Yeah. He comes in and basically takes his job from him. So we'll see who's in the portal. But one of those two guys, if not both, will be in the portal. And I think one of them will end up going to LSU if he can't get Sam Levitt.
And that's been the rumor, like one of those guys dipping and maybe going over the lane.
But I've seen Levitt possibly go into LSU, and if that's the case, then one or both of those guys is going to be on the market. Wild. I would, if I'm A&M, I would strongly consider taking
A&M. Yeah, A&M should be swinging it. One of those three guys that we just are talking about right now.
Someone like I love Rocco Becht, and he's got a ton of experience at Iowa State, and he wins. He's just not the same athlete as Levitt or Chambliss or Simmons. And I said too, I think it might have been our first show at the beginning of the year, I thought Austin Simmons was one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Now, obviously, that was proven wrong just because the sample size, like he barely played. But I still hold on to the fact that I think given the right circumstances with talent around him, like, A&M's going to get another receiver. I think Mario Craver's coming back already. We're going to have some tight ends coming back. Hopefully a decent run game, even though we're missing 4 out of 5 offensive linemen going pro or graduating. We'll be able to replenish some of those guys. And if you can get a portal guy like that, I think you take a chance. What I wouldn't do is wait for some FCS or possibly, mid-tier level, not mid-tier level quarterback, pay him a little bit just to be the backup, right? Yeah. You either go all in on a guy that is going to hit and has a higher ceiling than Reed, or you just write it out with Reed, hope he improves, and see how the offense does again. But the schedule next year is going to be tougher. They finished with OU in Texas. There's there's a trip at LSU in Missouri. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but it is much tougher than what this year was.
Yeah, and I think especially for Reed, like next year, I think you give him the starting spot. I think he has earned that just from being there. Obviously knows the system and knows the boys. You start him off early, you see how he's looking. Obviously you're not going to play as many big dogs early in the year. But you should have a good sample size just from that to be able to tell if there's a difference or not between this year and next year. And if there isn't, or that first big game that you get in and it is a complete crapshoot all over again, hopefully whatever guy you bring in behind him, see, it's different though. If you bring in a big name like these 3 guys we're talking about, those guys are going to beat him out.
Yeah, but the problem, like you said, he's earned it, and I completely agree he's earned it. The problem is, and it's a good problem to have, he does well against bad and mediocre talent, right? You don't just have a stinker game against nobody. It's when you play a good team that can adjust to him and, they can match fronts. That's when it's a problem. I got the schedule real quick. I'll read it real fast. So A&M starts out with Missouri State, Arizona State, the Kentucky all at home. So that should be 3 off the bat. At LSU in late September. Home against Arkansas.
We love that.
That'll be awesome. Home against Arkansas, at Missouri. Home against the Citadel. Tough one there. At Bama in late October. That's going to be, I think the at LSU and at Bama are going to be the 2 real big challenges. But and this backstretch is brutal. You got to bye a week on Halloween, thank God. At South Carolina, obviously, I don't care how good or bad they are. That's never easy. And then finish home against Tennessee, at Oklahoma, home against Texas. So that November down the stretch is
even your first 3 games are not sleeper games. Arizona State with Dillingham is not a sleeper game.
Yeah, he just re-signed with Arizona State too,
Just
so
resigned.
he'll be
He's
around.
gonna have somebody ready to go.
Yes,
That's coming in the portal. Arizona State is a hot place to go, literally hot outside, and it's just a hot place to go. What male in his late teens, early 20s wouldn't want to go to Tempe, Arizona, with that beautiful campus and the people that are surrounding that
Good spot
campus?
to recruit.
It is a great spot. They got great
Yep.
uniforms. The stadium's badass. Everything, right? Like
They got
that
money
is a
too.
great spot to be, and it's not pouring rain. It's not freezing cold. Like there's literally nothing bad about going to Arizona as a college kid and looking to play quarterback. There's nothing wrong. So he's gonna find somebody. So that game is not gonna be an easy game. That's not gonna be a pushover game. Kentucky is the type of team that, they've like been okay as of late recently. And then they've kind of went back down the last 2 years, but it's still not a team that if you don't show up, like you better show up.
New head coach, right? The Oregon offensive coordinator just took that job, so they're going to look completely different than they have from the past. Mark Stoops days of power football. All the good stuff. They'll probably have a pretty decent quarterback, right? It might take a year or two for them to get into it, but they're one of those teams where Stein, it could be a bust, but the boom potential is there to be the next, Lanning, but offensively, not defensively.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I like everything. I like everything about that topic of Marcel, and there's options. A&M's got money. They know they got the backing for the money to go out and get somebody if they really wanted. They have that luxury of doing that. I don't see them just flopping around and being like, Reed's our guy. I think they're gonna make something happen of that, especially what they just watched and they just witnessed with 3 points. They're gonna make something work to where they're not going to allow that again. And they're only got to me, A&M, I think I already told you was, yes, you lost. Don't be too down. You're in it. Like your team is in it. Your defense is more than capable and good enough. Over time and historically, you've always had a good run game. Your quarterback spot besides Manziel has been like your one crutch for a really long time. Even with Calzada and with Weigman, like these guys were.
Kellen Mond was solid. That was a COVID
Mond
year.
was solid.
Made it the Orange Bowl. Trevor Knight for the one season in 2016 was awesome until he got hurt.
Right. But that's been the crutch, is like somebody gets hurt or somebody's only there for a year and they're gone. Or they're just, it's just kind of mediocre, and then you don't have the defense to help them and back them up. Now that you have the defensive staple where everybody kind of knows A&M is going to be good defensively, they're going to have a decent run game. You got KC and Craver. Hopefully they are sticking around because God.
Casey's going pro, Craver's coming back.
Okay, well, you got one of the two, which is great.
Ashton Bethel-Roman's going to be a true sophomore.
So you got two guys that are very solid already. And that's something that is great in Marcel's eyes of, hey, I can come back and I still have these guys. I'm not completely lost with everybody that we had. And then whoever you come in, hopefully you bring somebody in to replace him and make leaps and bounds on a better offensive team.
Top 10 recruiting class too. It's frustrating.
It's frustrating. Just don't be down because you're in it. Like you guys have officially made a staple of, we're back and we're better than we've ever been. And the time is right now. Like this is just the beginning. Like the Manziel days are a one-off, right? That's just a year that we're like, well, we got this guy. He's walks on freaking water. Like, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't just happen
until the middle of the season anyway. But it's to me, it's frustrating because if you told me at the beginning of the year, right, that you would go, this is just a regular season, 11-1, you lose to your rival, but you make the playoffs. I think I would take that. Like, it sucks. Like, I never want to lose to Texas, but if you told me you lose to Texas, you win out, and you make the playoffs, I'd say that's okay. But if you told me you go 11-1, you make the playoffs, you get a home game, and you lose, would you say it's a successful year, right? Going 11-1, losing the first playoff game. I would say no. I would say what happened to make the wheels fall off late? I would say, how did we get such a bad draw? How did we miss the SEC championship game? And it's from the collection of some close wins, great games, well-earned, but not playing a tough schedule and kind of a little too much sunshine pumping for beating not great teams. And not that there's an easy win in the SEC, and beating Notre Dame is a great accomplishment because they are a borderline, should have been playoff team.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of not great SEC teams that we squeaked by for whatever reason. And we thought everyone was the best thing since sliced bread and got humbled pretty quick when you played two pretty legitimate teams. So I think next year going into it is, we might win a couple games, even if they're big games. You just can't get too high on the highs. And it might take a loss or two to kind of humble everyone.
That's what I mean by this year's okay. Because it's now that reality check of, okay, we aren't as good as we thought, and it's back to the drawing board, and we know exactly what we got to do. And it's literally, we got to put more points on the board, and we need more consistency we need more consistency offensively. So that is the good part. It's not like, okay, we need 4 safeties, we're missing both our backers. It's not having to take 9 different pieces to put it together. It's literally like 1 or 2 pieces that you guys can focus on and establish that, and you should be able to come back next year and legitimately be able to compete with those teams, which you already did in the 2 losses. You still competed with those teams. It's not like you got wiped the floor all of a sudden with a team that you're like, oh, wow, yeah, we were really just outmatched. Like, you weren't outmatched. Like, you gave up 10 points to a team. You gave up 10 points to a team who had almost a punt return for a touchdown, and you allowed one guy to literally, like, pretty much one guy, Tony, who did nothing statistically besides the punt return and then the 1 touchdown. He didn't do really anything else, and you lost that game. Like, there's a lot to look at.
You blame that
and just
completely on
realize,
the offense.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There's a lot to look at and just realize, hey, we actually had a successful year. There's so many good things about this season that we've never done before, and we had an opportunity to go get, and we came up this short. Like, I would rather take that than be like, okay, like, here we go. We're 9-3, and all 3 of our games were losses to okay teams or good teams, but we got mopped the floor. That tells me you're not even close. You know what I mean?
The Texas 8-4 jokes again, like for the 10th straight
year.
Yeah.
And that tells me you're not close. But these 2 games, losing 10-3 and then losing a really, really close one to Texas that was back and forth the whole game, that to me is just not, it doesn't correlate the same.
Do you feel
look
better
at that are good?
Yeah. Do you feel better or worse about the fact that A&M promoted internally? So they've got their new OC, it's Holman Wiggins. He was the co-offensive coordinator. I forget which position coach he was also with, but he's been on A&M staff for a little bit now. So Elko announced as soon as Klein got hired to Kansas State that he was going to be promoted internally and call plays in 26. Does that make you feel better or worse about A&M's situation going into next year with regards to, the ceiling of the offense, the ceiling of Reed, how he's developing? And all that
I like
stuff?
it. I like it because he knows where you're at. He knows what the problem is. He saw it right in front of his face. He knows what not to repeat and do again because he just saw a prime example of it right in front of him. So I like that because at least he knows, and he's been around. He knows the guys. He knows the system that Elko's trying to bring to it, and to the program. So to me, I do like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The guy, maybe he turns out to be a guy that's going to make a huge name for himself and be that dude. I mean, you don't know, but again, he just saw of what not to do, and let's not repeat that. And if he does, he's not going to be around too long. So
keep the same system. Don't reinvent the wheel, but improve.
Don't reinvent the wheel. It's a short leash for this guy, but you never know. I think it's a boomer bust. Like, hey, this guy's going to come out, and hopefully we just pop off the page and everything's clicking, and we got a new quarterback for him, or Reed just improves that much. Regardless, I think it's okay. I think
that this hire tells me that they're still all in on Reed, or Elko and the staff are still all in on Reed. And like you said, boomer bust. And if it falls off a cliff next year, then you just scrap the whole thing and restart in 27 when Reed's gone. You fire the OC and it just clean slate. But I think you're right. The athletes are still going to be there. The portal's still open here in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. We'll see who we can get. And just because you saw this year, the receivers that we got, right?
Yeah.
And how great seasons KC and Craver had. So we'll see. I mean, it's a long way to 26 still. That just coming off less than a week, a couple days away from that game. It still stings, but I think that helps a little bit too, of being like, yes, we're improving. It's not where we want to be. Yes, Texas and OU fans and the rest of the SEC is still clowning us for losing right off the bat in the playoffs.
You could be 7-5 again.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
You're right.
I look at it that way. You could be 7-5 and losing the teams that you probably shouldn't be losing to, and be squeaking by really bad teams. You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
I
No,
I
there's
would rather be
definite
in those shoes.
improvement with Elko than compared to the Jimbo days. That's for sure.
Okay, we'll get off A&M. We're on
Yeah.
it. That was a good rant. That was solid.
Good rant. I
We
feel
got
better
everything
now.
good. Then that was the whole purpose of this, was just make Liam feel better about his situation. That was my whole goal. I don't Oregon State's in a situation every year, so to me, I'm always in the pizzle. It doesn't matter. So I can't feel better. I make myself feel better about talking about anything else besides their football team.
Don't
For
worry. We'll
right
cover
right
Oregon
now.
State plenty for baseball, right, in the
Oh
spring,
yeah,
and then
I'm
transfer
down for
portal.
that. I'm down
And
for that.
then, hey, when August gets here, that preseason hype's going to be – it's going to be bowl or bust next year. I'm telling you what. I will get you on the 6
I
and
was
6
hyped at the
train for
beginning of this
sure.
year, my friend, and it was really bad.
Let's not pay a
I'm
quarterback
never gonna be
1.5
hyped
to
like
bench
that
him in
ever
week
again.
7.
I promise I'm never going to say we make a bowl game ever again. I'm saying we are the floor mat of the
Oh,
floor mats.
I'll take the Beavs to win a bowl game. I'll tell you right now, I'll take him to win a bowl game this year. No, I'm sorry. Not win. Play in a bowl game. Make a bowl appearance. Yeah, I've already looked at the schedule. It's bad.
Okay. All right, moving on. So the team that beat A&M, Miami, they are playing Ohio State. I talked about Carson Beck. I don't believe in Carson Beck. I don't trust Carson Beck. All my Georgia family hates Carson Beck. I'm telling you right now, there ain't no way in hell. And in God's name, I am taking Miami to win this game. However, 9.5 points is a lot. And if their D-line shows up like they just showed up, but I do believe Ohio State is better than A&M. I would have taken Ohio State to beat A&M if A&M would have won anyway. 9.5, man. I don't know. I'm going back and forth. I'm like, they keep it close. It's like, I need a flower, with the little petals. They keep it close. They do not.
They don't keep it close.
They keep it close. They do not. Like that's how I feel. If you got a gun to my head, I'm taking Ohio State minus 9.5.
Okay. So
Truly believe
we're
that.
gonna be flipped on both of these games. I love it. I think it's a Carson Beck game. I think Ohio State wins. Am I rooting for Ohio State? I hope Ohio State wins by 50, just based off of last week. That being said, I think back to the big games Miami's played in. Yes, they dropped the Louisville game. Yes, they dropped the SMU game. Offense played well against SMU.
That's bad. Both those are bad.
You can't be losing to Louisville like that. But I'm saying offense still showed up against SMU. The Notre Dame game, right? Finding a way to win, some incredible catches, being able to run the ball, Carson Beck doing enough to win in a big stage. I think he does enough. As long as he doesn't
turn the ball over. If he doesn't turn the ball over, dude, they have a chance to keep it close.
And there again, Carson Beck has the experience
so famous.
too.
He has experience, and he is literally just infamous for coming out and throwing 2-3 picks. Like that is just him. Like, dude, like you lost your Cavender girlfriend, and you think it would have helped him, maybe? You think maybe that's why I was going downhill at Georgia and that from the first place. He goes to Miami and moves to Miami so he can be closer to her. And then they don't even work out. And it's like, dude, like you are doing literally everything in your power to make your game worse, brother. Like worse. Like you are so I just can't. I don't know. What did I say last week? He looks like he looks like Sid the Sloth. Like that's what he looks like. His demeanor, just everything about him. And it's like, I'll pull up in my Lambo because I have $4 million from my NIL coming to Miami, and then I'm gonna throw 4 picks, and we're not gonna go anywhere. Like that is what I'm expecting this week against Ohio State, because Ohio State is very good defensively. They do have some of the best corners in the country. Carson Beck is going to crap down his leg. And I called it last week, and I said Carson Beck's going to struggle against A&M. He didn't do a damn thing. He didn't turn the ball over, but he didn't do a damn thing. So I'm going to say it again this week. And you know what? If he proves me wrong and he throws for 4 touchdowns and he doesn't turn the ball over and they beat Ohio State, then you know what? Shoot me. whatever. Then it is what it is. But I'm telling you right now, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm taking the Buckeyes. Give me the Buckeyes big. Give me the Buckeyes big.
I hope it's the Buckeyes big. I hope all that happens. I have recency bias, and I can't help but think about Miami's defensive line and how they just terrorized A&M. And if they can do even part of that to Ohio State, Julian Sands got less experience than Reed has, right? You saw him early on. Now, granted, like the Michigan game, threw an early pick, and we thought, oh, here we go again. He gets settled down, he moves on. Miami is better than Michigan, right? They've got a better quarterback than Michigan does. They've got a better D-line than Michigan does. They got a better running back than Michigan does.
Yep.
And Malachi Toney might be the best player on the whole field as a freshman, right? I know there's a lot of talent out there. This is a big NFL game if you think about it, like all the NFL talent out there in this draft and the following next few. I think just from a talent standpoint and from a recency standpoint, Miami keeps it close. I think Sands struggles. I think Beck plays good, not great. And I think a late turnover, like you were alluding to, will be the difference in the game. And Ohio State will find a way to win. It'll be like 27-24, 27-23, something like that. I expect a good game. I expect a close game, but I expect Ohio State to win.
So, yeah, it sounds like what I'm going to do is put a parlay in of these picks that I'm making now. And then the ones that you're going opposite on, I'm going to fade those because
that's fine.
It's just, I don't know, man. I have weird feelings going either direction for these games that I've been looking at. And it's just like a coin toss. Like if I wake up on the left side of the bed tomorrow, I'm probably taking Miami to cover. If I wake up looking at my wall on the right side, I'm probably going to take Ohio State. So
how shocked would you be if Miami wins outright?
I would be very shocked.
Okay.
I would be very shocked just in terms of because of Carson Beck is literally just the most illiterate quarterback left in this entire football playoff. So, yeah, that's where I stand. So anyway, Ohio State favorite -9.5 in the Cotton Bowl. Ole Miss, like I said, the minus whatever it was, it could have been -30 because they hit. Yeah.
16 or 17.5.
And it could have been -30. So what's crazy is I actually took it and teased it to 20. I gave myself an extra 3 points because I really did believe Tulane was going to just walk away with it, and Tulane walked away with it by halftime. I don't want to touch too much on this game because there wasn't much to touch on from the aspect of competitiveness. Tulane is bad. College Football Committee, I hope you win this game thoroughly because it was freaking embarrassing. Thanks for letting us watch the same game twice in 1 year against the same crappy opponent. Ole Miss and Trinidad, man, I can't say it enough. I said it before. If there was a team to be my dark horse to win this whole thing, this is the squad. Because Texas Tech is like my clear-cut favorite. I don't really consider them a dark horse because I think they have maybe the best defense in the country, besides maybe Indiana. But Ole Miss is a very, very close second. Very, very close second. So this week, Ole Miss UGA. All that being said about Ole Miss and how much I like Ole Miss. Guys, this is so hard for me to not be like, yes, Ole Miss to beat UGA. Now, I'm not going to say that's not a crazy thing to say because I don't think it's crazy at all. Ole Miss to beat UGA is the best bet of any of these games this entire weekend. And you can book that one. Just because we talked about this before, Gunnar Stockton does not jump off the page to me, even according to his high school stats, which are just absolutely absurd. If you haven't looked those up, please do. I mentioned it last show. It's just absolutely insane.
Doesn't he hold like every Georgia State record for passing?
It's incredible. Like but again, we want to talk about Arch Manning only playing like 2A football. I think the guy literally played like 1A instead of Georgia, and they go up to 7A. So take that for what you will. He literally played blind kids. I'm not going to take that for too much. So I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised if Ole Miss comes out and wins this football game. If you're going to give me a 6.5 or a touchdown spread, I'm taking Ole Miss to cover that all day long. It's going to be a close game. This game is going to be a nasty one. It's going to be good. But do give me Ole Miss to cover this weekend. And I like to sprinkle the money line on the Rebs.
Yep.
And I am hurting inside. I'm sorry, Georgia fan out there. I'm so sorry. I don't even know if you're awake right now. I know Griffin.
No, it's almost midnight. Probably not.
Griffin might be watching this, but
okay.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to say that. I'm still rooting for UGA. Don't get me wrong. I'm just thinking with my actual brain, not my heart. Okay, brain, not the heart. Ole Miss plus 6.5.
Hard to beat a team twice. Really hard
Very
to
hard.
beat a top 6 team twice. Neutral site game. It's going to be more
And they've
dogs
gotten
than
better.
Reds
They've
there.
gotten better since they played the first time.
I completely agree. And they showed no signs of stopping after Lane left. I mean, it was the not to reminisce too much on the Tulane game, but it was pretty much the same game that happened for week 3, minus Retzlaff throwing for about 300 and then moving the ball a little bit in the first half. Outside of that, the exact same game.
Yes.
Ole Miss looks great. Georgia's fairly rested, although they did play in the SEC championship game. I don't think they're too hurt, but I could be wrong by that. All that to be said, give me every single point you got. I like Ole Miss plus 6.5, and like you said, sprinkle the money line. I think they went outright, and I hate that a lot of people think the same way because that just means dogs by 14, 15. But
Yes,
I really think Ole Miss gets the job done and just goes on an insane run with Lane not there.
I couldn't agree more. I want to move on to this next one, guys. I don't want to touch on it too much. Again, this is just so embarrassing to even have this in the conversation. And Oregon Ducks, you should be freaking embarrassed of yourself. You can't even cover 20.5 against a team that's an FCS school literally 4 years ago. You suck. How embarrassing. At home against JMU, and you're gonna let them just go up and down the field on you, like literally like the first 4 drives, just moving the football. And you're supposed to be this great defensive team. We've changed. We're so much better defensively. Like, come on, dude. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, this game should not even be close. Yeah, I don't even care that you scored 51. I don't care that you scored like every time you touched the ball. You should have done that. This team is not even remotely near on the same planet as you talent-wise. So the fact that Oregon is favored to beat Tech this weekend is the biggest disgrace of the entire football season. It is disgusting. I'm going to put my entire bank account on Texas Tech money line this weekend, and I'm telling you right now, Dante Moore, you're not going to have it this weekend, brother. You are not going to have it. Give me Tech. Give me the Red Raiders. And I know this. Now, this is a heart pick. This is a heart pick.
Yo, really?
Yes. But this is partly from the brain. I mean, I'm using actual times, how many times I've watched Tech this year, and how many I've watched every single Oregon game. I watch Oregon every week, guys, because I want to watch them lose just as much as I want to watch my own team get their first win of the season. Okay. This is so ridiculous that you're going to favor a team who didn't beat Indiana. Again, Indiana Tech might have 2 best defenses in the country. And you're going to tell me you're going to favor them traveling across the country after they just gave up 34 points to JMU at home. And no one was excited about this game. There was no buzz. I don't want to hear like, oh gosh, the football playoff announcement so cool. No one cares, dude. You literally played James Madison. And I know that's not your fault that you got scheduled that game. But again, no one cares. You played nobody. And you gave up 34 freaking points. Like, oh, it was garbage time. Was it? Was it garbage time? They went up and down the field with you for the first 3 drives. Like, come on, man. Disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Raiders. Give me the freaking Raiders, man. I'm telling you. This people are sleeping. People are really sleeping right now. And for everybody at Vegas, for everybody that's betting on this game this weekend, all the Duck fans, you better think long and hard before you go and press Oregon Ducks money line, because it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. Putting it on it.
Well, first of all, great rant.
Yeah,
First
I was
of
gonna
all,
say sorry.
if
You're
you
probably not
have
gonna top that one.
if you have a gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. It's the first line to call.
That's a great number. Great number.
Second, I'm gonna tag along with Texas Tech plus 1.5. The one thing I would be worried about with Tech is this will be by far the best team they play all season, right? I think the Big 12 was good. I think people like to dump on them a little bit because it's the Big 12. They don't have good teams. They do. Texas Tech, like, they went to Utah, dominated them right on the road, beat BYU twice, who was a top 10 team by the end of the season. They've got great wins all year long, but Oregon is a step up. On the flip side, I think Tech and Indiana are both comparable, right? Just like the Oklahoma thing, Oklahoma, Indiana. And I think they give them very similar fits to Oregon. Now, we'll see if athlete for athlete, right? Because Tech's defensively has looked great all year. Let's see if their athletes hold up to top level Big Ten athletes, right? That Oregon has. I think they personally do. And I think they give Oregon a lot of problems and will find a way to win in another low scoring game.
He said another clown who craps on the G5. JMU beats many ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC teams. Again, I'm not necessarily crapping on JMU, but they don't belong in the same conversation as the Oregon Ducks. Like, let's not get that twisted. I'm not saying they're a bad football team. They put up 34 on them, and they're in a college football playoff at Autzen. I'm not sliding, dude. I covered G5 all year. I'm not sliding JMU at all. I'm saying JMU is the best G5 team you're going to find, like, period. And they still gave up 51 points and couldn't stop a parked car for 4 quarters. There's levels to this. We say this every week. There is levels to this. JMU is not on that level. So I'm not clowning them. I'm not crapping on them. I've seen them beat other teams. They beat Wazoo. And Wazoo damn near beat Ole Miss.
They should have beat Virginia
and
Ole Miss. Yep.
Like, we've been saying this. So I'm not crapping on them, dude. Don't get me wrong. I ain't crapping on them. But I'm just saying there is levels to this, and this game shouldn't have been close. From a Oregon Duck media homer standpoint, because they all homer them and they all freaking think they're the greatest thing in the world.
3-touchdown game,
20-point spread, and you can't cover that at your own stadium in your first ever win in the college football playoff. Don't be excited about this win. Don't act like that it was some substantial win for you as a Duck. You're going to play a real freaking football team this weekend. And this is my other debate of BYU is better than anybody that Oregon played besides Indiana this year. Utah is probably better than anybody Oregon played besides Indiana this year.
Maybe Iowa, USC, but yeah.
Iowa is very, very solid, especially when you got to go play them at Iowa. So they're in the conversation, obviously. USC I'm not going to put in there because we've already talked about it. There's literally no defense involved. Like, their defense is just as bad as JMU. Like, 100%. Like, their defense, USC and JMU is on the same level. That might be the same.
I actually agree with you on that.
Yes. So to me, again, there's 2 teams, BYU and Utah, and Tech absolutely smacked the floor with both those teams, and it wasn't even close. So if Oregon played those teams, I think it looks just like the Iowa game. It's close. It's not comfortable. It isn't the same, right? This is why the fact that Oregon is favored is disgusting, and they should be ashamed. And Vegas is doing this on purpose. Still, this should not be a pick'em game. This is a 3.5 point Tech spread. All day long.
What would you put the line at? 3.5 for Tech? Oh, that's still a close game, but okay, that's fair. And which is why we're both going Tech money line.
And that's just giving respect to who Oregon is. That's all that is.
They're a top 3 Big Ten team with a ton of talent who can scale and play with anybody.
Who pays more than anybody in the nation for their talent.
That too. But legal now. Yes. But you're right. Their schedule really didn't prove much. Again, USC without a defense. That Iowa game, 18-6 in the drive-in rain in Kinnick, right? That's as tough as it gets. Yes. Wisconsin, no. Rutgers, no. Minnesota, no. Washington, close game, but I don't think it was really ever that close. No. Penn State,
Washington hung around. Wisconsin hung around. Like,
and then Indiana wins comfortably by 10 on in Autzen. So yeah, I agree with you. I think road game, East Coast, right? That's a big jump to go from Eugene to Miami, and to win the Natty, they're gonna have to do it twice.
Opposites of the map.
Yeah, it doesn't get much further than that. So I like Tech in this. I think it's gonna be an awesome game, though. I can't all 4 games this weekend are gonna be great.
And again, guys, I'm not crapping on JMU. I am crapping on Oregon because that's just who I am and that's what I do. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're not a good football team. Everybody knows they're a good football team. I'm just saying they're not as good as what everybody says they are. Every single year, it's the same thing. I'm smelling it every freaking year. Here we go again. You're going to play a real football team. Prove me wrong, because you've never won a big game like this against a real football team like this. Never. He said Oregon nearly beat #1 team in the country early with questionable calls. Oh, here we go. Questionable calls because you threw freaking 2 picks and Dante Moore shit himself. So there's questionable calls going
Pick
on.
6 was a real questionable
No,
call.
no. They got dominated up front. They couldn't run the football. Dante Moore looked the worst that he's looked all year since his UCLA days. That's what that game was. Period, point blank. And Indiana, realistically, they've beaten the crap out of everybody besides Oregon and Ohio State, and they handled Oregon for that entire second half. The entire second half. So, again, and prove me wrong. Maybe I get proved wrong. Thank you, Dirty Dan. Dante's a fraud. Thank you. Been saying this forever. There's my guy. I knew he's in here somewhere.
Thanks, Dirty Dan.
I'm waiting for it. Thank you.
Hey, so quick recap with all 4 games. So the Oregon Tech and Alabama, Indiana will play each other in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. So again, that's Oregon and Texas Tech. The winner of that goes to the Peach Bowl, and then Alabama, Indiana winner goes to the Peach Bowl. And then you got Ole Miss, Georgia. The winner of that will play Miami, Ohio State. So a lot of really good matchups possibly coming down the line here.
Yeah. The possibilities for like any matchup is good.
Literally all of them I'm excited for in some way or another.
Yeah. And I'll take either team. Like in any of them, I think any of them would be good games.
Yeah, I agree.
We're gonna kind of wrap this up. We got these 2 correct as well. At least you and Cody did. Montana State pounded Montana. I took the Grizz. So Montana State pounded them. Looked like a clear-cut favorite for the Natty this weekend. So FCS national title coming up. Illinois, who I did take over Nova as a dog. They got the win there, so I was super, super happy about that. 30-14. They looked impressive again. I got to ride with the Redbirds, man. I think what is the spread for that game?
I looked real quick. I didn't see. Hand up though. I did take the Grizzlies this week, so I was wrong. I think Cody took Montana State. I did.
Yeah. Okay. Cody, I knew
but
one of y'all or both y'all took Montana State.
That was a great call. While we're trying to find the spread, did you see the get?
And that is why he coaches in the FCS. Everybody, he played against that team. He took that pick. We didn't play against him. He took it. He knows
what he's
talking
about.
Cody.
Did you see the get-in price for that Brawl the Wild game? Like $700 to get in. Yeah,
FCS game.
Yeah,
wow. And that was the first time they ever played against each other in a semifinal, or not even a semifinal, in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
First time ever. I can see why it was $700. I mean, there's nothing else to do out there besides go to those games, and those people love. I mean,
it's for the state and for a championship. So I'm not seeing a line.
No line for that game.
I'm not seeing a line.
It's got to be. I'm saying it's Montana State, probably the 9.5 or 10. I think
you're right. I think it's going to be that big.
That's probably
now. If we get the Illinois State that shows up against NDSU right in that first round or second round,
could be fun.
But they still had 5 turnovers and still won. So I don't.
And don't call them the Cardinals. They're not the Cardinals.
Redbirds.
Okay, everybody. Redbirds. And it could be any red bird, any of them. Doesn't even matter. It's not a particular red bird. It can be any of them.
Just the red bird.
Go.
If I find it, I'll let you know. And if we do another show before then, that game's not until January 4th or 5th. So we got a little bit of time before that.
I'm convinced now.
I'm not seeing it.
If I ever watch Louisville or Ball State, I'm just calling them the Redbirds from now on.
I love it.
Redbirds. That's it. Well, it's like Miami, Ohio's the Red Hawks, but at least it's a hawk. It's not just any bird.
Would you do that for baseball too? Like you're watching St. Louis?
Yeah, no, they're the Redbirds from now on.
Okay, good.
No one is the Cardinals. Arizona is now the Redbirds.
I just saw it real quick, and then it went away. It looks like it's going to be about a touchdown favorite for Montana State.
Okay, so they're giving Illinois State some props. They're giving them some props.
Early prediction. I think Montana State wins pretty similar to the Montana game. I mean, that game, Montana was up 23-0 or 23-20, either going into half or sometime in the third quarter, and then Montana State ripped off 28 straight. So the Bobcats just find a way.
Bobcats. The cats are good.
That's going to be fun, though.
All right. Well, that's all I got, man. I mean, we got a little over an hour. I was trying to hope for like 30, 45 minutes, but we had a couple good rants in there. So, got to do it for the people on the pod. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in again. Another week down. Again, hope you guys all have a good Christmas, man. Spend time with your families, eat some good food, watch some good football. And Liam, thank you for joining, of course, per usual.
Yes, sir.
Always
Thanks for
happy to
having
have
me
you.
on. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone listening. Happy New Year. And we'll see you guys maybe before the new year or right
Maybe.
afterwards, whenever you want to go.
You might see
But
us one more time this year, but you most
yeah,
likely will see us next year. So,
enjoy the bowl games. Enjoy your friends and family. Best time of
yes,
the
sir.
year.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, everybody.